Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're actually going to read some reviews from Yelp and Trip Advisor on Splash Mountain. Figured this one would be appropriate since it's going to be closing soon for refurbishment, and we're coming up on our trip. It's actually in December. We haven't canceled it yet. We're going to have probably talk about it in October, around that time where we can reschedule it with limited fees. But let's just figure about getting us in the Disney mood and kind of a nod to the classic ride here. So let's go ahead and read some of the bad reviews they gave to see kind of what they were thinking, if they were even thinking anything when they wrote this. So right now I'm over here on Yelp, and you can see I have Splash Mountain up here. So they give you some reviews on COVID-19, business hours may change. I don't care about any of that. So I already went and sorted it by the lowest rated. And let's just go ahead and dive in. So we have one for poor customer service from the attendant, very disappointed how I was spoken to, lack of respect if you ask me. I had to come back in line from using the restroom and she did not want to hear it. Well, I kind of probably feel for that attendant. If you leave the line, you really can't come back. I know some places they allow it. I never had to, so I'm not sure how I'd feel, but I figured if I left the line, I wouldn't be coming back into line where I was at with the rest of my group. Just kind of prevents, like, if there's a group of 20 people and they all go into all in the different lines, and then one group rides the ride and then comes into the next one. I mean, I get it. It's not really that big of a deal. It's not the attendant's fault, I feel. Next one, not worth the 3-hour wait. Was really surprised how unorganized this ride was. Staff members seem to have no clue how to direct traffic. Little kids setting themselves due to a long line. I think they mean sitting down. You would think they would have restrooms along this long line. I don't know if Disney's ever put restrooms inside a line. I could be wrong. Guys, let me know in the comments. The big amusement park around here is actually Cedar Point is the biggest one. And I know some of the rides when they launched, or when they were debuted, like Millennium Force, they had, I think, porta potties in line, as long as some of the lines have vending machines. I don't know if Disney ever would, just because that's kind of doesn't seem like that'd be like the same, I don't want to say class or standards. They just wouldn't probably want that. Odd. Alright, next one. I can already see this one's a mess. This is the worst, most miserable place on earth. John, Slippery Rock, shown in the picture, was so rude. The ride at Buzz Lightyear set a 50-minute wait. After 2 hours, I was furious. I watched John let 1,000+ people through for every 2 people not on FastPass. Can't say I believe that. And then I confronted him, and it was the worst customer service. After I said, "Hey, can you let the people go who have been patiently waiting in the line for 2 hours?" He had a nasty attitude and refused to let anyone else through. Truly miserable. Welcome to hell. Well, this is clearly not Splash Mountain. They even say in here this is for Buzz Lightyear. So I don't know why they reviewed this one, because this is definitely Buzz Lightyear's Ranger Spin. And this one is Space Mountain. I hated this ride. I remember liking it when I was younger, but not anymore. I was in the front or second car from the very start of the ride to the very end. It jerked and threw me all around. I think it's unsafe for children to ride and could possibly cause neck damage. My head and neck hurt so bad after that ride. The rest of the evening, I had a migraine. Yes, Space Mountain can be a little jerky-ish. Throws you around a little bit. I get it. However, this is still supposed to be a Splash Mountain review. Let's move on. Looks like that person gave it a 5-star rating beforehand. They changed it. Oh well. Next one needs to be improved. Seriously, this ride used to be way more fun 2 decades ago. Most recently, when I was at Disneyland, we got through the gate as soon as they opened, and we went straight here. It was early in the morning, and maybe someone forgot to turn the lights on for the first ride. You used to be able to see the streaks like shooting stars as you progress through the circuit. This is Space Mountain again, not Splash Mountain. Next one was shut down in the middle of the ride. What a terrible experience. Sat down waiting for someone to unload us for 30 minutes and then an additional time waiting to be walked out. They really need to get a handle on this ride. We were escorted behind the actual ride where maintenance travels, an area infested with mosquitoes and no protection. This was a process of the blind leading the blind. The PA system must have been on the highest volume setting. It was unbearable and incomprehensible. Now, if they had a walk off on Splash Mountain, I don't know what the ride is. I've never worked there and I haven't seen behind the scenes. But I don't think they're going to make it. I mean, I'm sure Disney would want to hide some of the stuff, but if they had to go through paths maintenance traveled, no, it's not going to be the prettiest thing in the world. So I don't know why you'd expect it to be polished like the rest of the park. Like anywhere behind the scenes is completely different than what anybody else sees, like working in a business, anything. So, review. My daughter got on this ride and she did not enjoy it. She was expecting more. And again, we were disappointed because we thought Disney would have everything great. We were wrong. Okay. So disappointed with this ride. There was no countdown and no music like the Space Mountain that's in Disney's California. Do people not know how to use the internet and search the correct reviews? They took darn too long for a regular person. Fast Pass is bull. We are all broke. It's not fair. Okay. Disney creates a lousy experience by letting large numbers of Fast Pass riders through while the rest of us rot in line. The ratio of non-Fast Pass to Fast Pass riders they allow through is ridiculous. The park is not worth my time anymore. I mean, I understand that. Every time I've been to the parks, there's been Fast Pass there. Take that back. We went to one of the Halloween parties where they don't allow Fast Pass, and it seemed to go through. So, I mean, I believe there's some truth to that, where if there was no Fast Pass, everybody would pretty much be a lot happier. Got stuck on the ride for 20 minutes and was compensated with a Fast Pass. Okay, really? What a joke. Disney makes millions and doesn't satisfy their customers. Were you expecting to ride all the rides for the rest of the day? I mean, that's pretty nice, and they didn't have to do that. Next, when we got here, me and my two sons went to this ride thinking it would be very exciting and fun. Unfortunately for us, since there were three of us, one of the workers told us they could only be 2 people per seat, according to him. So my oldest son decided that he would sit somewhere else since 3 people couldn't sit in the same spot. So my son sits down and this lady decides to sit there with him, which is okay since that's only 2 people in one seat. That is until she asks the worker how many people can fit in one ride, and she says 3. I can see where the anger is coming now. This is when she invites this big person to come sit with her and my son. My son told him he was uncomfortable and that he was being squished, very squished. So I tell one of the workers if there's something they can do because they told me that only 2 people were allowed. So they start the ride without even answering me, and my son spends the whole ride sideways with his legs on top of each other. Horrible service. I'm very disappointed. Well, if that happened to me, I'd probably be upset. It kind of sounds like there's still more to the story where someone's just complaining. I'm sure if they would have caught it earlier, probably, maybe they caught it the last second, that maybe they could have done something else. I don't know. I've never seen like that bad customer service whenever I've been to Disney. This ride is unacceptable. Disneyland is better. Sorry, Disney World, but Disneyland is way better. Okay. Space Mountain is the worst ride there. I'm not even going to read that one. Again, does anybody know the difference between Space Mountain and Splash Mountain? Once you pull down the lap bar and get into the trains, you drop down into the Star Tunnel. If it's man-made, it will break. It's probably not anyone's fault, but to wait an hour and then have to leave because the ride is broken. Bummer. It had 18 years, yes, 18 since we had been to Magic Kingdom. Big letdown. Well, there's always a next year. Why didn't you like the ride? Just because it broke down? Or it's being refurbished? That's... sorry. A bit overrated, I think. I mean, I love roller coasters. I have a feeling we're talking about Space Mountain again. And at the end of the ride, it wasn't too sure it did anything for me. For my 3rd time here at Magic Kingdom, this is the 2nd time for me. And usually when I'm just gonna skip this one. So I know I did some reviews on my channel, and I'll probably still do some more in the future. Clearly not everybody can be a reviewer. If you can't even get the ride right, then you shouldn't even post it. Recently visited Disney World with my 3 grandchildren. Space Mountain. Let's go to page 2, and if it keeps turning out like this, I'm going to move on. Disneyland version of Space Mountain is the best ride in the park. This is a review of the Fast Pass track, which is Space Mountain. Okay. I went to TripAdvisor as well, so we'll see if TripAdvisor has anything better here. So I did the same thing where I selected average, poor, and terrible. Looks like we only have 19 reviews here, so should be able to get through them. Although this one is apparently oh, it is a 3-star. Bummed it was closed. We have ridden Splash Mountain in the past and loved it. At least we have the correct ride. But on our trip it was closed for maintenance. It happens. I would have loved to ride it again. I think they closed for the colder weather, but it was 85 and would have been a nice cool day. Or cool dawn. Down. Nice cool down. I agree, it sucks with refurbishment. I don't think we've ever rode the train because every time we've gone it's been down for refurbishment. A few other rides go down. It's what they have to do to keep things up to date. I mean, there's no downtime where, like, if a park here in the Midwest was down in the wintertime, that's when they do all their maintenance, so the rides are usually up the rest of the year, the rest of the time the park's open. I mean, it sucks, but that's what happens. A wet trip. This was a fun ride. The line was extremely long and we waited over 80 minutes. The ride takes about 5 to 8 minutes to do, but it was a good ride. We came off this ride absolutely soaked. My 2 kids loved it. Sounds good. Very scary. I was trembling after this ride. I came to Magic Kingdom assuming that Splash Mountain would be a non-scary ride for little kids. But unfortunately, it was a scary ride. First, I didn't know how to pull the safety bars because the bars were the same color as the log, but a passenger told me how to hold the bars. Then came the 50-foot slope. I was nervous and trembling with fear. The ride was very rough and scary. In summer, it is a dangerous, scary, and stressful ride. Okay, I don't know why summer makes it more dangerous and scary and stressful. I don't recommend going on this ride. Did they not know there was a drop? I mean, let's scroll up here. There is a drop, or a slope as they call it. Let's see, there's a slope. Oh, there's other kids. I don't understand. How did you not know it was there? I mean, I don't know. Not for everyone. I have consistently seen long lines for Splash Mountain and found it very difficult to get a fast pass for this ride. Late on a Saturday evening, the line was down to 30 minutes, so we decided to give it a shot. In short, I won't be wasting my time on this one again. The get wet opportunities might be good for a hot day, but I found the ride boring, and for the most part, though the scenes were detailed and creative, I found it boring for the most part, even though the scenes were creative. The big drop is intense, but not nearly as death-defying as you'd think for the hype. If the line is short, give it a chance, but it certainly isn't in my top 10 rides at Disney. Now, I do like Splash Mountain. It's probably one of my favorite ones. The refurbishment is going to be interesting. I think they're going to do a good job. Disney usually does, so I'm not really complaining. I agree. I wouldn't wait in a long line for it. Usually when we ride it, it's first thing in the morning. We make our way over there and we get on 5-10 minute wait. We ride it once, we get wet. We usually can get over to Big Thunder Mountain, dry off that ride, and we're good on those 2 rides for the day. I totally underestimated this ride. After the last drop, I was nervous and dazed for a few minutes. I'm probably not used to thrill rides. Better with younger kids. The ride is an old favorite of ours, but with the older kids, it's no longer the same. The fairy tale theme is a bit played out for us. We still love the 50-foot drop at the end, being the only reason for still doing it. Yeah, I get it. I know there's like a small in the dark, kind of like a hill. It's not water, really. During the ride, that's actually one of my favorite parts, is when you go down the little hill completely in the dark. We want to do this ride before 9 p.m. show and entered in at 7:45. The timer read 45 minutes. Plenty of time, one would think. 7:45 plus 45 is 8:30. We want to do a 9 p.m. show. Ride's 8 minutes. Gives you 20 minutes to get into place in line. All started well. The queue moved along slowly, but halfway it halted, and over the speakers they told us the ride had problems, but they kept Kept letting the express line into the logs. I know they've managed to get a time on the Disney app, but they kept letting the express line jump into the logs. I know they have managed to get. I know they have managed to get a time on the Disney app, but they have not paid more money than me. So one would think they take every other, not just them. So they got a fast pass and they're upset they got a fast pass. Yet that person probably also had fast pass for other rides. Regardless, if you're gonna go to a 9 p.m. show, you don't get into a line an hour beforehand, especially when the line is 45 minutes long. So we had to leave the line. In the end, 70 minutes was not enough to get through this ride. Probably not if 45 minutes was waiting in line. We really wanted to see the Ever After show. Well, hopefully the show was good. Disney's extended hours. Don't stay late for the extended park hours with the intent to ride Splash Mountain as they close it. It's a magical way to give the guests that stay at your overpriced resorts a disappointment. Closed for technical difficulties. Decent experience. This is our last ride of the day. I've done it. I've rode that at night, and I actually like it more at night. Probably just because everything's more dark. Usually all the rides are better at night. Same with roller coasters. Nope, this one seems to have very long lines, even late. I believe, because I think I waited a half hour for the nighttime one. Usually morning time, there's no line. I walk right on. I might recommend using a fast pass on this one if you can get it. We could not get a fast pass for this one. Typical log flume ride. Yeah, I agree with that. And it's right in the middle, so I mean, it's nothing too bad. Last page. They badly need to rehab the logs in which you ride. Who knows, they might do that. Probably not, but they might give it a paint job or something. A family favorite during the sticky hot summer days of Florida, but the logs in which you ride have these foam-covered safety bars that smell like wet, dirty clothes you accidentally left in the washing machine for a week. It's pretty gross. You have to wear a poncho to minimize the stink transferring to our clothes, and be sure we use a ton of hand sanitizer to get the smell off our hands. Other than that, it's a fun ride. Oh, and the 4 or 5 alligator characters are still there, even the one biting Briar Fox. Don't believe the hype that Disney has removed all alligator characters from their parks. This was from July 2016, and that's when that unfortunate tragedy, the alligator that unfortunately drugged that small child underwater, happened. I know they kind of did low-key, took away all those jokes, like off the Jungle Cruise, but I think it all came back. This is the perfect ride to take on a hot day. It meanders through the mountain with until you take a steep drop and ultimately wet clothes. It's a nice relief on a hot day, to say the least. You can find a picture of yourself as you walk off the ride. It's true, they take a photo down that 50-foot slope. If you have PhotoPass, you can get the picture added to the photos. Neat deal. You will get to see the characters form the Uncle Remus, Brer Rabbit, and the rest of the gang. To be sure, you will be humming or singing Zippity-Doo-Dah at some point. Spell check too, please. I mean, I'm not the best in grammar, I know that, but proofread, please. And I'm not even good at English. I prefer math over the English. The boats need some serious cleaning or replaced. The moldy smell is horrendous. This would be a fantastic time for little kids if it didn't have 2 drops. Okay. I often wondered why they didn't make that an option. Clean up the boats. Well, when you design rides, you can't have options of the 2 different layouts, or you can just skip a drop. I'm sure you can, but it costs a ton more money, and at that time it probably wasn't an option, and there's still no room to do that. You can't just go from one elevation to the next and then just have like an elevator take you down. I don't know. Sorry. You can't make everybody happy. Alright, so that was reading some reviews from Yelp and Trip Advisor on Splash Mountain. I'll keep doing some of these because I kind of enjoy reading it. It gets me pumped up. We'll do some restaurants, we'll do some other rides, attractions, maybe some shows. Just kind of want to see how it goes. Again, we're planning on going Disney in December, and I know this kind of gets me excited, and it kind of makes me get used to having that type of person in the park with me, and I get to see how crazy or insane it kind of seems like watching them. Yes, you spend a ton of money to go to Disney World, but you can't expect yourself to be treated better than anyone else because everyone else paid that same money to get there. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching and have a great day. Hi, Greg K here. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. It means the world to me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.